When a millionaire nearly runs out of money, he doesn't give up. He doesn't just sit back and watch his empire crumble. For me, that means picking up the tools again. You can take away the wealth, but you can never take away the drive to revive. Hello everybody and welcome back to my garage revivals. Alright, so yes, we are just on our way over to the shop because we have got quite a bit of work actually to do today. So back at the shop we've got Justin's ramp bed truck that we are busy with, and that is going to need us to assemble the cab today so that we can get everything sort of put back together. So in the last episode we sorted out all of the suspension and we also mounted new tires. And there was also a big pop sound during the recording of that episode, and it turns out that one of those tires actually blew. So it looks like there was probably a weak tire that we got from the batch, but yes, that is okay. Alright, well yeah, we are definitely getting some traffic this morning, so yeah, I'll bring you guys back up to speed once we get back to the shop. Alright, so here we are back at our shop, and yeah, there's not really a whole lot going on. As you can see, the yard is pretty much cleared up, but I do have a little bit of news. So over in the back of our yard, you will notice there's a vehicle parked over here. So yeah, this is in fact my new personal project vehicle. So I've got a more or less an idea what I want to do with this one. This is just going to be a quick flip vehicle. We're going to try and clean it up a bit, get some of the rust taken care of, give it a nice new paint job. And obviously we don't have any wheels and tires installed on this car, so we're going to have to sort that out somehow. Probably going to have to bring the floor jack and see if we can get it lifted up so we can get some of the wheels that we have laying around fitted. We also don't have an engine, but yes, that is why actually this morning you'll notice in the back of the F100 we've got a big crate. So I actually tracked down a guy who's got a couple of second-hand engines that he was getting rid of, and yeah, he didn't really have a price for us to say how much we needed to pay for it, so he actually ended up giving it to me basically free of charge. However, I am going to be doing some work for him a little bit later down the line. So the guy's name is Charles, and yeah, we'll get in touch with him once he is ready for us to start working on his vehicle. So yeah, let's maybe just take this inside the shop, and we're just going to open this door today. Alright, and let's get our crate just put somewhere. I think it's going to be fine if we can just put it over here on this workbench over there for now. Alright, let's get some lights turned on, and we'll also open this door for some fresh air. Alright, so, but yes, the project at hand, we've got Justin's ramp bed truck here. So, as I said, we had a bad tire on the back, so one of these tires actually blew, so I just had to go and replace it again. So they did do it actually free of charge, because obviously it was a brand new tire. But yes, you'll also notice that we have got quite a little bit of money back in our bank account. So that is money from the Volvo's auction. So after deductions, we actually got about $33,000 out. And then with the money that we got from Laco's Mercedes-Benz that he owed us, we are basically just a little under under 115,000. So it's not too bad. Alright, but yes, we still need to pay off our loan that we have with the bank, so that money is probably going to go mostly over to the bank once we can go and do the payment. So yeah, today what we're going to start with is basically putting this cab back together. So we are going to have to get our welding machine. I don't recall where I actually put it. I think it's still over there in the suspension shop, so let's take a walk over there. I'm just going to grab the welding machine so that I can actually put that thing back together. Alright, so there it is. Alright, so let's take this back to our body shop. Alright, so here's our welding machine ready to start welding up the cab of this truck. So as you can see, we decided to go with a black paint job. It's quite a shiny black paint job, so I think this thing is going to look pretty decent when it's done, because we decided to go with the black cab. And then what I'm going to do is all of the trim pieces on this truck is going to be painted in the green that we've got on the rims. So I think it's going to be a very nice two-tone color scheme that we are going to go for here. Alright, so let's grab our rear panel, because now this thing is a little bit off balance, so I'm going to try and see if we can put this thing back together as far as we can in its current state. Alright, let's just put the welding machine behind us. It's going to be a bit better to work around this. Okay, so we'll weld up there. Okay, so that should hopefully help this thing balance a little bit better now. Alright, let's see what it does now if we put it down. Yeah, it's still a little bit top heavy on that side. Okay, so that's fine. Well, let's keep putting parts on it until it decides to actually stay upright. Alright, so I think the cab should be able to go on. Let's just see. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, and that should actually be a weld somewhere over here. Unless if I need to install something else first. Let's just see what else we can get popped onto this thing. Let's do the cab sides. This is probably for the left hand side. Okay, so that can go on there. Let's just grab our welding helmet. Well, the welding handle. Okay, and just try and figure out where this weld is that we need to do on this thing. Yeah, it's definitely not easy now that this thing is actually laying like this. Let's just try and do it like that. Alright, I think let's do a little bit of change of plans here. We're gonna get this thing mounted onto the truck. Okay, and let's just bolt it down, and then we'll just weld everything back together like that, because we've got our battery installed, but I can quickly just pop the battery out, I guess. That is the negative on this side. Right, so there's the battery. Okay, so now let's just bolt this cab down. Okay. I think the cab is still sort of not put together enough for this thing to be stable, but I think we'll manage now from here. Alright, that looks good. And now let's put our wrench back there. Let's see if our welding is gonna allow us to weld anything yet. Alright, so the cab is on, unless if our gas bottle is empty. I think that might be the case, so let's quickly just swap out the gas bottle. I don't know if this thing has got a working gauge. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's empty. Alright, so yeah, I actually managed to figure out what's wrong with the welding machine. So we didn't have any more wire on the spool left, so that's why I didn't get all of these welds popping up for us. But now we're going to be able to hopefully finish all of the welding work. So yeah, I must say that bottle actually lasted quite long. And let's just wait for this thing to stop, because now we don't have a handbrake on it. Right, let's maybe try and shunt it a bit more forward. And everything is just sort of in the way today. But there we go. Alright, let's stop it over there. Okay, so we've got that part welded up. I don't know if there's any welds on the inside here. It's probably just the one back down there. Okay, so that looks good. I don't see any more welds over there. Right, so now we can grab some more parts. Right, let's put this into position over there. And yeah, this thing just likes to keep falling over. Right, let's weld it up there. Weld it up there. And let's just see. I think we've got all of the welds now. Looks fairly decent. See what I'm talking about? This thing just likes to tip over today. Yeah, that is not good, but okay. Anyway, let's continue with our rocker panels. Let's get that rocker panel on there. We'll get this one on the opposite side. Right, let's grab the welding machine. Okay, that looks like it's all of the welds for that side. Let's go around this side. Okay, that looks fairly decent. Okay, so we'll see what else we still need to weld. I think most of these parts that we have left are just going to be bolted on. So let's grab our driver's side door. So we actually had a little bit of fun with the paint job on this thing. So we actually painted that door handle green as well. So that is a nice little touch that we're going to have. And I'll also give you guys a bit of an idea what's going to happen with this truck and what it's going to look like when we are done with it. Alright, and let's grab the other door. Alright, just like that. And we can bolt that down. Yeah, there's still a little bit of dust on these doors. We haven't cleaned it up properly just yet. We'll get it cleaned up before we actually send this thing over to Justin. Alright, there goes our front left fender. Also nice and painted. So I actually did the de-rusting on these fenders off camera, because I actually forgot about them in the episode when we stripped this thing down the first time. But I did get them sorted out, so that is sorted. Let's just zip these bolts down as well. Yeah, it's definitely starting to get there. We've also repainted the bumper and the bumper guard over here, so it's like a all-in-one piece. Actually, you can take the bumper guard off the front of this thing. So I had to paint them in 2 stages, but there we go. So that is the new improved bumper guard installed. And then the last part that we can actually put on will be the hood. Alright, so there goes the hood. Alright, and let's just see if we can get to these bolts over here. Alright, round this side. Alright, so that is looking fairly decent. So we still have got the old pedals from Laco's car. We should actually just chuck those, but yeah, I forgot about it. Alright, so now we're gonna quickly assemble the grill, because we've got a brand new paint job on the grill. But I had to order some new of these lamp trims, because the old ones were looking a little bit tired on this truck. We've got some new headlights and also some new blinkers, because the one blinker was actually missing and the one headlight was also missing. So just got some new headlights and some new blinkers. Alright, let's put these in right over there. And now I think we can probably pop them onto the grill first. Just get our screwdriver so we can actually bolt these things down or screw them down. Right, just like that. Okay, so now let's grab the other headlight over here. Right, let's zip this down. Alright, perfect. And now let's grab our blinkers. Right hand side is actually this side, okay. Alright, that is the blinker done. And let's grab the last one. Alright, that is good. And now it's just a matter of popping the lamp trims into position. Right over there. And there we go. So that is going to be the new face of this truck. Alright, let's just bolt everything down. Alright, so that is perfect. Well, we don't really have a lot more things to carry on with on this truck, because we are still going to wait for a bunch of parts to come. So we've got all the trim still outstanding. We've got the interior that still needs to come. Engine should be good, but we can't fire it up yet because we don't have the dashboard. We can probably get this mounted. So this is our actual ramp bed that can go on. So yes, but I think in the next episode we're probably going to finish this thing off, because I've got all the mirrors coming, all of the interior bits. So everything should be here hopefully by Friday, so that we can get all of those things mounted. So let's firstly just bolt down this ramp bed now once and for all. Alright, let's go around the other side. Alright, bolt it down there, over there, and the last one. And there we go. Alright, so this is going to be a very mean, sleek machine once we are done with it. Alright, so yeah, there's, as I said, not really much else to do here. We can probably get the new steering column fitted. Let's just try and see. We don't have a handbrake lever just yet, so that is also coming with the interior parts. But we do have got the steering column. In the meantime, we can get this mounted. Alright, it's nice and easy when the carpet isn't installed. Okay, and then we also have got our brake master cylinder. which we can also pop into here. Alright, and once again, it's actually easier getting the bolts from inside. And let's not forget our bolt of the main brake line over there. So yeah, that is sorted. We still also don't have a fuel line, so I've just got to make a mental note of everything we still need in order to get this truck up and running. Come to think of it, we can actually get the battery mounted back in. So let's just put this where it needs to go. Alright, and positive is that side, negative over there. But yes, this thing is definitely getting there. It's coming along very nicely. And I think we shouldn't be too far anymore. We've still got to get a gas tank and all of that. So those are all parts that I've probably going to have them all color coded in the similar green. But we'll see. I'll just figure it out as we go. But for now, there's not really a whole lot we can carry on with. So what I want to do is I want to see if we can get some wheels and tires mounted onto our new personal project vehicle outside. So I'm going to grab the floor jack and we're going to take a walk around the back here. Alright, and we're going to see if we can lift up the one side of this vehicle, because they actually delivered this thing without any wheels and tires. So we're going to have to try and make a plan to get this thing rolling once again. Alright, so let's grab some wheels. So I was thinking the wheels that we took off of the F100, they will actually suit the car very well. So let's take these ones for now. I think it's just going to be good enough for the time being. I'm not sure if we'll keep these wheels on the car, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll order some new wheels for it just to get it looking a little bit better. It might actually sell a bit easier if we can get some better wheels on it, but there's nothing really wrong with these. Alright, and let's pop that one onto this corner. So it looks like the suspension on this car is complete, but it's definitely got a lot of worn parts on it. You can clearly see the front end is a little bit lowered down by the looks of it. It's probably a bad torsion bar. Alright, so I managed to push the car away from this little curb here a bit. It was sort of hard to get the jack under the car like that, so I just had to push it a little bit to the side. Alright, but let's come and grab the last two wheels over here, and we're going to get them fitted, and then hopefully this thing is going to be able to roll under its own power. Or not really under its own power yet, but it's going to be absolutely a rolling wheel, well, rolling chassis as they would say. Alright, let's grab the last one. Alright, that is good enough. Let's grab this one and get it slapped onto that corner, and then this car should actually start looking a little bit better already. It doesn't look like a complete wreck anymore. Alright, that is perfect, and let's just get this thing lowered down. Alright, so there she is. Yeah, that front end is definitely sagging quite a bit. I think we've got some bad torsion bars over there. Yeah, you can see those are quite rusty down there. So we are going to have to replace those with new ones. I might actually still have the lifted ones that came off of our Dodge Challenger that might actually fit. I can't really recall where I put them. They might actually be in the suspension shop, which is yeah, I'm not too sure if I should really mount those. Let me just see if I still have them. I think we still have got a strut rod over here. We've got a couple of suspension parts here for that car, or parts that will actually fit on that car. Those are the lifted torsion bars, but I don't really want to put those on. So I think we'll just roll with the busted ones for now. I'm just going to try and get that thing sort of mobile. Where did I... Oh yeah, of course I put it over here. Alright, let's grab this engine crate. So the guy tells me this engine is built up out of second-hand parts, so it still runs, but it's not going to be a perfect engine, obviously. Right, let's see. Okay, well, it actually looks fairly good. So let's unbolt these two bolts on the sides. I'll try and lift this engine off. Yeah, it's definitely not too bad. Might be a couple of things we need to go through on this, but I think for the moment we're just going to grab it, we're going to pop it in the car, and then I'm going to try and see if we can put some fluids into this thing. Unfortunately, I don't have an exhaust that can go onto this car yet, so it's going to probably be quite loud if we do fire this thing up. Okay, but there we go, we've got an engine in. Luckily this car does have a gearbox. Alright, let's just get to that bolt down there. We've got our ground cable, alternator cable, and then obviously the gearbox bolts. And let's go around this side. And we've got those bolted down. And the starter bolt is still tight. Looks like we've got decent brake fluid in the reservoir, but this brake master cylinder looks quite bad, and so does the main brake line. The driver, the steering column also doesn't look too good from what I can see. But I think if we put some fluids into this thing, and if this battery has got a little bit of juice in it, this thing should actually fire up if the engine is as good as the guy says. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly waltz across the road. We're going to pick up some oil and some coolant and just top it up and see if that thing actually wants to fire up. Alright, so we are just busy putting in the last bottle of oil before we try and fire this thing up. So yeah, I actually did a little bit of digging around the engine bay and noticed that we didn't have a fuel pump, because I forgot about the fuel line as well, obviously. So I was going to run across the street to go and pick up a fuel line, and then when I got there I got the fuel line and I came back and I actually tried to install the fuel line, but noticed there was no fuel pump. So I had to go back to the shop and picked up one of these as well. So we've got a fuel line and fuel pump installed now. So everything is nice and tight. So I think we are just about ready to try and fire this thing up now. That is going to be if we do have gas in the tank. So let's hop into this thing and just see if it does want to show any signs of life. I see the fuel gauge did move, so I think we'll... There we go. Yeah, we'll definitely get it running. Alright, but it's obviously going to be very loud because we don't have an exhaust on this thing. Alright, we're going to have to just pick up our wrench. I'll come and clean up here afterwards. But let's see if this thing actually wants to drive now. It's a good thing it's running, but we don't know if it's driving. So let's see if we can find some gears. Handbrake seems to be holding. And we've got brakes for the moment. I don't know if the brakes are gonna keep working. But yeah, this thing is gonna be super loud. But just want to see if we can drive it around to the front and then pull this thing into the suspension shop, because we are definitely going to have to do a little bit of suspension work on this car. Just going to take it nice and easy. We don't want to go crazy here. And the brakes are starting to fade. I think we've got a bad main brake line or something that's definitely not working as it should. Right, luckily our handbrake is working. And my goodness, the traffic is quite bad this time of the day. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing driven up into here. Yeah, it's a little bit scraping. There we go. Alright. I don't want to put up the handbrake just yet. We're going to try and see if we can get this thing lined up for the lift. Alright, and I think, yeah, that should work. Alright, let's see if we can actually lift this thing up a bit. Get a little bit better look under the car. Right, I think this is a 1971 Dodge Charger, if I'm not mistaken. So they are quite rare, actually. But I think if we can get this thing fixed up and make it look nice again, it should definitely be worth a couple of bucks. Alright, I just closed the garage door for some good measure so that we can actually get this thing lifted up a little bit higher. And just to do a bit of a better inspection, I must just remember not to open that door because it's definitely going to catch our car. But yes, let's turn on our flashlight over here. We're going to see front suspension doesn't look too bad. We've got a couple of worn parts, a little bit rusty. Those torsion bars are definitely shot, which we have already basically figured out. We're going to have to see if we can find some exhausts for this thing. Around the back, the leaf springs actually look like they are still kind of holding up. Although this one, yeah, that's a little bit rusty. So we'll definitely get a new leaf spring for this side. But we'll also check this one anyway. Shock absorbers, that one looks fair. That one looks bad. The axle itself looks bad. We've got a bad drive shaft. Yeah, there's definitely some work to be done here. But I think if we can do this right, we should be able to get this thing sorted out. Alright, so I'm going to put it back down. We are going to just grab the hose over here. And I want to see if this thing is going to clean up a little bit better. And just see if there's going to be a lot of body work or not really. So let's give it a little bit of a rinse. Alright, so it looks like it's actually like a navy blue type of color. It's actually not bad. But we do have got quite a bit of rust on this quarter panel. And also a little bit of rust on the door. The rockers look solid on this side. The fender's got some rust. Yeah, we've definitely got quite a bit of rust on this car. But I'm not too afraid of tackling a bit of rust. Sorting that out, getting this thing looking a little bit better. Alright, and let's just see what we got over here. We've got a rusty trunk as well. Yeah, it's to be expected on an older car like this, especially because it's been sitting for quite a while actually. Even got some rust back here. Alright, and let's see, this quarter panel isn't too bad. I don't see any rust on the roof, which is actually a good sign. So that is not too bad, at least. And sort of cleans up well as well. Doesn't look like there's too much problems with the paint, or at least the paint that's, well, what's left of it. We've got a hot colored rocker panel on this side. Yeah, doesn't really scare me. Just means that somebody either replaced it at some point. But it doesn't look rusty at all. Alright, we are definitely going to need some new trim. So that's going to be fun to find the right trim for this car. Alright, let's get this big hood cleaned up. Oh, okay, well, I guess that is what happens when you are busy. Some people are going to try and phone you at some point. So yeah, let me just quickly grab my call over here and see who this is. Uncle's Customs, hello.
Hey there, FUNCLE. Just to let you know, I have left my Lada Wagon over at Lewis's parts store for you to collect.
Awesome, man. I'll get that sorted for you right away.
Alright, brilliant, mate. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
Alright, so yeah, I actually finished cleaning up the car after being on the phone with Scotia. So Scotia Plays is actually the guy who I sent the El Camino to. And he's currently got his hands full with a bunch of projects. And he actually asked me to take care of a little bit of work on one of his... I don't really know if it's a company vehicle of his or if it's his personal vehicle or whatever the case is. But yeah, he actually wants us to do a little bit of work for him. And it's nothing too major. So what he did is he actually dropped the car off over here at little Lewis's shop. Because... yeah, he didn't really want to bring it over to my shop just yet. It was actually dropped off very early this morning already. So there it is. We are going to probably be able to drive this thing back to our shop now. Because he said it is running and driving. It's a very decent-ish little car. But it definitely needs a little bit of body work. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of rust on this thing as well. And he also wants us to do a little bit of a special conversion for him. So he actually wants to turn this thing into a little bit of a panel wagon. And we are going to be turning this thing into a 3-door. Because it's currently considered a 5-door station wagon. So we're going to turn it into a 3-door with some closed panels on the sides. So I already spoke to a couple of my suppliers. And yeah, I've got a guy who actually specializes in these parts. So we're going to be able to find those and get them installed for him. Alright, it looks like he wants to turn. Okay, so let's get going. And yeah, obviously this car is also quite down on power. It's only got a little 1.5 liter inline 4 engine. So yeah, this one is going to go straight into the body shop. We are going to do a quick inspection of the suspension for him as well anyway, so just going to use this little scissor lift. So I think let's just pop it onto here for now. Alright, and we'll just put up the handbrake. Alright, and we're a little bit too far forward, but that's okay. We can just push it back a tiny bit. Alright, let's just straighten this up a bit. Alright, I think it should be fine if we lift it up like this. Let's just see what we've got to work with over here. We're going to try and lift it up as high as it can go. Alright, well, I think that is high enough. We're just going to do a quick inspection. Alright, so there's very little wear and tear on the suspension actually, but yeah, once again, these cars are very easy to work on. So we're going to definitely do a little bit of work for him under here. It's not terrible. We've got a bad steering rack. And it looks like we've got some bad brake calipers over there in the front. Yeah, those can probably be fixed up or replaced. Tires are definitely shot. We're going to have to do maybe a new set of wheels and tires for him as well. We'll see. Back here, brakes don't look terrible. We've got a little bit of worn suspension components like this lower arm over here. The upper ones looks decent. That one actually still looks good as well. Handbrake cable looks decent. Drive shaft and differential is a little bit bad. But the axle itself appears to be good. So I guess we'll figure it out. So yeah, I think let's bring it back down. It's going to be a little bit safer if this thing isn't sitting all the way up there the whole time. So yeah, there we go. Alright, so we've definitely got quite a bit of projects going on already. And I actually did speak to Hugo as well earlier. He gave me a call while I was actually busy with getting the oil topped off into this car. He's got his cousin Dennis. I don't know if you guys will recall Dennis from the season 1 of the Revival series. But he's got a pickup truck which has got a inline 4 engine in it. And he tells me that Dennis actually wants us to do a little bit of repairs on his truck. It's nothing major, it's just a little ding on the door. So there's going to be a little bit of body work involved. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to just close up the shop, because we need to jump into our ramp bed truck and see if we can get over to Hugo's house and pick up Dennis's car. So yeah, it's going to be not really Dennis's car, it's going to be Dennis's truck, because Dennis actually got himself the work truck because he can start doing a little bit more work with the truck rather than he did with the car. So yeah, that's definitely Dennis moving up in life. So we're gonna jump into the ramp truck, and I'm not sure if we should take the trailer with us, because the last time I did this, I ended up bringing 2 cars back home, which isn't ideal because we need to pay back the bank. So we're just gonna take a chance and see if we can actually get it loaded onto the ramp bed truck. If we can't do it, I'll probably end up leaving our ramp truck there for then, and then we will come back with Dennis's truck if it's not going to be able to go onto the rack of our ramp truck. So let's head over there and see what this truck of Dennis is all about. Alright, so we are here at Hugo's house, And it doesn't look like Hugo's home, but his cousin's car is parked outside. Not really his cousin's, his nephew actually. So yeah, this is Dennis's Ford F250, or is that, no, it's a F150 custom apparently. So yeah, this thing does look like it's got some lowered suspension on it. And yeah, I can hardly notice this dent under here, but it's bad enough if you look at it at a certain angle. So yeah, that is the only bit of damage he wants us to repair. So this actually shouldn't take too long. But as I said, this thing is an inline 4-cylinder. So let's get it fired up. And you can hear that little inline 4 purring away. Alright, I gotta have a look at this engine. Yeah, that is quite tiny, actually, but apparently it makes decent enough power to hold this truck. I mean, don't know what he's using it for, but it's definitely not going to be a very good tow rig, if you ask me. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if our ramp truck is going to allow us to put this thing on top of there. So we're just going to get it lined up, and we're going to drop the ramps down, and I'm going to try and drive it up. I'm not too sure if this is going to work so well, but I guess we will find out once we try. Alright, let's lower it back down over here all the way. So our truck being lifted a bit, yeah, the ramps aren't really going all the way down to the ground, but there are ways of doing it with the ramps a little bit in the air. So luckily these wheels on this truck looks kind of decent, so they should actually just be able to drive up there. So let's give it a try and see what happens. Alright, so yeah, this is definitely not the easiest. Alright, let's just try it again. Alright, I think we may actually have it on. So let's just have a quick peek over here. Yeah, I think we are good. Alright, so let's shut it off. Let's just close up the door. Yeah, I think that actually worked out quite well. We didn't have to struggle too much. I had to try twice to get it up, because the first time we didn't have enough traction. But there we go. So that is all loaded up. So we can head back to the shop and try and see if we can get this thing offloaded once again. Alright, and we are back at the shop. And yeah, that was quite a bit of a drive with this truck on the back of our ramp bed truck, but we got it here safe and sound, and nothing got damaged further. So yeah, that is all good. Alright, so now it's going to be a matter of trying to get this thing off the ramp truck again. So let's get our ramps lowered down all the way, and I'm going to try and see if I'm going to manage to jump up all the way up here once again. Alright, so we are in, and let's just get this thing fired up once again. Alright, that little inline 4 engine is definitely purring away nicely. And there we go, that was actually quite easy. Alright, so this truck actually also needs to go into the body shop, so I'm gonna probably just pull it around there. We might take Scotia's car out a little bit later and just put it on one of the lifts in the suspension shop as well. and then that way we are gonna have a little bit less crowded body shop over here. I think we should be able to get it past over there. Alright, and there we go. Okay, so let's pull this bad boy inside. And just like that, I think it is in. Okay, so yeah, look at us. We've got quite a lot of work actually ahead of us, with the addition of a brand new project vehicle of our own as well. So that is definitely, yeah, that is perfect timing for the rain to start as well. So yeah, it looks like we are going to call it a day over here at FUNCLE's Customs. We definitely have got quite a bit of work to do now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the Ram truck parked up again. We're going to maybe move Scotia's car over to the suspension shop before we head home. But I think that is going to be where I'm going to leave this episode, guys. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.